Is your brain a little perfectionist gremlin? Because mine is sometimes. And it gets kind of old. You have all these huge dreams, or maybe even just like normal, realistic dreams that you feel like you're not able to get started on because your brain says, "What will other people think of me?" Or "I'm not good at it. Why even try?" Or "Who do you think you are?" All of those things. You want to be the very best right out the gate. And I'm here to talk about how to realistically get past that, because I'm sure you've seen tons of videos that are like, just get started. And, they're talking about how if you don't ever get started, you're never going to get there. Like, now is the time to start. And for some people, that's all the motivation that they need to get started and take off with their dreams and things like that, or just their normal goals. Let's be real. Sometimes it is a achievement just to get out of bed, for some of us. So for me, I struggle with wondering like what people will think of me, because I feel like I have a different view than others, and I perceive the world differently, and I have ideas that go against the grain a lot of times. Well, that's something that holds me back. But today we're going to talk about things that can hold all of us back and how to realistically get past those in a way that's supportive and less of a hustle culture bro mode, like just get it done kind of way. So let's kind of take a little bit of a step back and think about just our experience as humans. And we are thousands of years in the making. So many people had to come together to collaborate for our existence to even be real. And when you look at it from that perspective and you think of like, oh, my human life is already so short and delicate, and there's so many different things that I want to do in this world. It's easy to get caught up and think like, oh, I just want it to be perfect. I want to like leave my mark on this world. I have this vision that I will be perceived in a certain way and I'll leave a lasting impact on this earth. Or you could be like, I just want to provide for my family or for myself. I want to take care of myself. I always feel like I'm running ragged. Like whatever that thing is for you, I want to empathize and let you know like how natural it is to let all of those like wishful thoughts kind of hold you back and be like, but I just want to do a good job at all those things. So let's talk about some of those things that can hold us back in this world. And for a lot of people, it could be time. We're working all day, then we get home, we're exhausted. We feel like we don't have the time to put towards ourselves, towards our goals, or anything like that. It can be our health. Health is unfortunately it is not something that just comes easily to everybody. And a lot at play for people's health to be either in decline or having chronic illness or disability or things like that. So health could be one of the things that is holding you back. Status and achievements. Now, this is something that is like a little more abstract if you're so busy, all the time, that time and all of that is the thing that's holding you back. You may not even think about like, oh, well, I want to be a certain way. But some people are like, I'm not to this place yet, and so I can't get started. I haven't achieved these goals, so who am I to talk? So that status or achievement could be holding you back. Knowledge and money. So maybe you're feeling like, oh, I don't know enough, so I can't get started. I need to set aside time to do all this research and learn. And so it holds you back. It comes really down to the time thing, but some people can spend hours and hours and days and months of their lives just researching and trying to learn, that they get stuck in the I'm still learning phase and not I'm taking action. And money is the other thing that can hold you back, because you think like, I need all these tools to get started and I want it to be very good, because when people see it, I want them to know that I fit in and I'm using the same tools that they're using. If you're an artist, you want to use the Copic markers or the Winsor and Newton watercolors, or you want to just use the thing that everybody's putting out into this world as the best. And it is so valid to let that hold you back. I mean, it's so valid if that is a reason that holds you back. But all of this kind of boils down into a common theme that I am realizing I super struggle with, but I know a lot of other people do too. And it kind of, these little bits and pieces just boil straight on down to an all or nothing attitude. Like, I have to have it all together to move forward. I can't have anything just like messed up. We have to have all our ducks in a row, or I can't get started, and I'm not going to be good enough or whatever. And so when we get into that all or nothing thinking, that in itself is so hard to overcome because sometimes you don't even realize you're thinking it. So it's important for us to kind of recognize where we potentially are getting into that all or nothing thinking and start to learn how to dismantle that way of thinking in our lives. And the one way to get started is to get help. You can go to therapy and have a professional help you work through that, but not everybody has access to that healthcare. And so whenever you're wanting to get started and you don't have access to that healthcare, then start maybe during a time whenever you are in a more healthy mindset, or you're not actively feeling that all or nothing. You can start journaling about it and start writing down different thoughts that you've had that is all or nothing. An example of all or nothing thinking could be that you don't have a perfect camera or background or audio setup or anything like that, so you can't start recording a video idea that you have. Or if you are somebody who likes to sew, you may think that you need to have the best sewing machine and purchase the best fabrics from all of these boutique fabric stores and all of that stuff. And it doesn't even cross your mind that maybe you can get a sewing machine off of your Buy Nothing group online and then go to the thrift store and start off sewing with sheets or curtains or things like that. And so it really boils down into things have to be this specific way, or I'm not good enough, I can't start, I cannot move forward, etc. And some ways in practice to overcome that would be making progress in small bites. So for me, the way that I am overcoming some perfectionism is I wanted to start this YouTube channel. This is my second video, and one of the things that has been holding me back is time. I do have some nice cameras and things like that because my husband and I have been into photography and video for a long time, and that's a hobby of ours. But filming YouTube isn't something that I personally am just knowledgeable about. And so time is one thing that has held me back. I want to know more on how to get started before I go. But it just continuously holds me back. I find myself just researching, just being stuck in that research mode and perfectionism and all of that stuff that I don't show up. But the thing is I'm not wanting to teach you how to start a YouTube channel. I'm not wanting to teach you how to have a great setup. I just want to express myself and express my thoughts and ideas and build a community and have some connection with people that are experiencing similar things to me and things like that. And so all of those reasons why I am holding myself up, trying to make things perfect, really it's just delaying my ability to get connected. And so I decided I'm going to start in bite-sized chunks. And instead of charging my cameras and all of those things, I am we're just going to use my phone to start off with because it's going to be easy. I got a random burst of energy. Let's do this. So I filmed my very first clip during my lunchtime on one of my work days, and the clip was just a few minutes long. I think it was like 3 minutes, and I'm like curling my hair and talking to the camera. And then I didn't film anything for the rest of the day. That was a 3-minute clip in my lunch. I then worked on the rest of the clips during spare moments of my day later on. And like honestly, behind the scenes, I did it on multiple days. I just put on that same sweater that I had on so it felt cohesive. But I filmed that on multiple days, just a few clips here and there where I had some spare time. It didn't affect my life greatly. And whenever I edited the video, I barely edited it, and I posted it because I was like, okay, we're just getting it out there. We're getting this first video out. I have this big vision for how I want to creatively bring my ideas to life through video, and it did not hit the mark. It didn't. But I cannot learn from just sitting around and trying to perfect it before putting myself out there. I need to get my ideas out and just move on. So whenever you are doing this, a reminder, just work in those bite-sized chunks. Next up is working within your means. As I was talking, like, I do have access to cameras, but I have a phone that I can do. And the thing is, you don't even need like the best smartphone. You don't need the best of the best to get your ideas out there. It's just, and I'm using video as the example right now because it's so relevant to me. But also, like, when it comes to art, when it comes to creation, when it comes to your hobbies and all of those things out there, you don't need the best things to get started. Maybe you getting started looks like signing up for a class or going to your local library. They have a lot of times they will have free classes and things like that. Or if a nearby town or city that you live in does like community events, there's sometimes classes and things there too. So they will have the tools that you need to get started, or will be able to at least point you in the right direction. When we're putting ourselves out there, the next thing is that if you're putting yourself out there and then as you go and you're learning as you go, you will see growth over time. You will be able to take those mistakes and turn them into opportunities for growth. Using all of the things that you're learning as you go as your guideline in real time. You don't have to listen to all these gurus. Pause this video and just go get started. You don't even have to finish this video. And then another thing that like really helps me is intentionally setting goals based on my values and like my ultimate dreams and goals. And then detaching myself from the outcome of my creations and focusing more on the journey in the process. Whenever I do this, it allows me to fully absorb into what I'm working on and just enjoy it for what it is and have fun while I'm doing it and not trying to nitpick all the little things and obsess over making mistakes or stumbling over my words or not doing it good enough, etc., 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 forever. And I just get to be in that process. And whatever happens, then we move on. And we're detached from that outcome. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you want to know the beautiful thing about doing that? You can always use that as your first draft. And you've learned so much. You can critique yourself and ask for opinions if you would like to, and just kind of see where you can improve. But you didn't let perfectionism hold you back. And so you did it, you completed it, and now you're able to learn and move on. And then the next thing that really helps me is not attaching my identity and who I am to the work that I do. Sometimes I'm like, I call myself an artist a lot, but then like in the past few years, and part of the reason why I'm doing this channel, I felt like I've lost myself because I've got out of art. And I'm using this sharing as a way to kind of explore my own thoughts on the world and help me work through some of the struggles that I'm having. And so perfectionism is one of those things. And perfectionism with art is something that it can kill your creativity. Art isn't for the people. Art is for ourselves. And when artists create, the goal is self-expression, and it doesn't have to be a certain way. And so I found that what had kind of drawn me out of that art is that I was connecting my worth as an artist to the things I was making, and it just did not feel good. It didn't feel good. And it made me kind of get shy and not want to create and feel like I didn't have ideas that were good enough, and I kind of put down my paintbrush. And I haven't picked it back up yet, but I'm exploring creativity in other ways right now. I've started coloring with markers, and I have started creating zines. I'm making these videos. I'm creating in other ways. But the ultimate goal is for me to get in that zone of creation in all these different formats and then find myself in my art again. And so that is a part of my journey as I am creating this channel. And so I'm going to leave off this video with 2 final points that I think are so important for you. We sometimes will hold all of these things in our brains, but whenever you get in the habit of putting yourself out there early and often, you're opening yourself up for the support of others. I know that it is vulnerable, and you're also opening yourself up to people like naysayers. But the thing is there's people out there that will see you and be inspired and things like that. And so that's one thing that I want to remind you is if you're sharing your journey, it doesn't have to be online in this way, but just even just with your peers and your friends, oh, this is the thing I'm doing. You're opening yourself up for support. And so allow yourself to share that side of you with people who you know will be supportive of your dreams. And then the last thing that I want to leave you off with is I know sometimes that sneaky voice can be in your head that says, what if it all goes wrong? What if it's a failure? And I just want to remind you that you have the power to say, what if it all goes right? What if the thing that you wished for comes true? Because it can, and it will. It will come true eventually as you continue to grow and put yourself out there and do the thing. I hope that you have a lovely day. I also hope you have so much empathy for me as I am learning to communicate on this platform. And I would love to hear from you what you're working on, what your goals are, and how you plan to get there and how you also plan to overcome perfectionism if it's something that you struggle with. So let me know. I can't wait to hear. And for now, I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you later.